we are developing a range of standards that includes work-based learning rules, of learning delivery, learner involvement, and reviewing the learning and development standards with the support of other sector skills councils. In addition to all that, we have acknowledged the need for an employer engagement standard through our sector skills agreement. And we have a panel working on this, and you may remember the report that we developed on work-based learning that indicates this as well. We have secured funding to develop these new standards, and now have had another request from the Learning and Skills Council to develop the new broker qualifications and related to the standards for trained again providers in England. Now, as you can see from the Secretary of State's announcement last week, that's pretty critical, because trained again is going to be beefed up and be the enhanced vehicle for so much more work at various levels, not just level 2. So we recognise that that is a critical way forward. We also recognise that work-based learning practitioners often undertake multiple roles. And we must ensure that the outcome of this revision process includes a framework of standards for the diverse range of roles which exist, and support for the flexible, unit and credit-based qualifications designed to meet the professional development needs of these roles. This includes the current trainer-assessor role, of which I'll say more in a moment. We're embarking on a major consultation process to feed into the review of these standards, and indeed your views are incredibly important to us. But it's important that we get things right. It's important that we take time in doing this, even though there's great pressure on us to move forward swiftly, so that we can consult and get your views. When I addressed your forum back in May, I made some comments about the range of different government interventions and initiatives that are driving the current reform agenda. I noted then the centrality of the role of ALP in working to deliver and influence these reforms. Nothing has changed to alter the importance of that relationship, and indeed, if I can say so, it is even more important than ever. One of the things that's given me such great pleasure in working with you recently is the joint work that I've been involved in with yourselves, the colleges, and the Alliance of Sector Skills Councils. This is a tripartite relationship to deliver the skills agenda. And we've had some really useful discussions about how we can bring together work-based learning providers along with sector skills councils and join up the demand-supply relationship. I'm meeting for breakfast with your champions tomorrow, and I think this is a critical way forward. I've actually seen some very interesting relationships in the college sector, which has resulted particularly in health and social care and creative and cultural industries, very close working relationships with sector skills councils. And that's brought about an involvement in skills academies and a much closer view of the world. So much so that in fact what we've agreed to do is between us, the three groups, the colleges, ALP and the Alliance of Sector Skills Council, is to work out an agreed really a list of what we all agree on. That's breaking down full fat qualifications into bite-sized chunks. That's lobbying government where we actually have a consensus, because there's a serious realization that in this fast changing world, the voice of three organizations together is stronger than one. So I'm looking forward to seeing what more comes out of that. And this is strong ministerial backing, this approach, and it's proving that we can do things together for ourselves. I'm sure you all know that ALP is an active member of Lifelong Learning UK's Work-Based Learning Constituency Panel and is regularly involved in LLUK's activities for the sector. Now we want to beef up this panel, and it's an interesting group of people interesting in a whole lot of ways because it actually brings together work-based learning across the four countries of the UK. And that is really a great help in actually reflecting on our own practice and developing our own way forward, and indeed learning from each other. It meets 4 times a year, and I'm sure you can put forward your name if you wish to be involved in that through ALP. Moreover, we're planning and consulting with key stakeholders to develop the data that we collect into more meaningful intelligence and workforce forecasting and trends monitoring. Critical if we're to have influence on government, so that we come not just with a shopping list, with an evidence-based approach that is much more persuasive than saying we want. This will help us to influence funding bodies to resource workforce development on a right place, right time basis. Another item on our agenda back in May was the workforce strategy and the accompanying implementation plan. Work-based learning providers are a key part of this strategy and will be involved in the review consultations that are underway presently as we further refine this in light of recent changes. This was a significant piece of work that brought together over 30 different organisations that are influencing what happens in our workforce. Strange thing is, it hadn't been done before. And what that enables to see what the trade unions were doing, what the work-based learning providers were doing, what colleges, what the LSE was doing, whatever the organisation was, and look at the gaps and the connections and seeing how we can make things better in the complex world we inhabit. We have included ALP in virtually every working group we've got right across all our breadth of project boards, programme boards and qualification groups, assurance groups. This is in addition to the constituency panel I've spoken about. As of course, with all such consultative panels, the membership is renewed from time to time, and this is an ongoing process. I'm delighted to announce today that on top of the staff that we have who work across work-based learning, we are going to appoint a work-based learning sector manager who will lead the connection with yourselves. Once in post, this person will become a crucial link with the constituency panel and the various programme boards, employers, and indeed the wider sector. And I'm looking forward to working with this person to develop these important activities.